Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So now, as when I look back on his lawyer saying that I played doubles and that could be his brother in the tape, those are the things that ruined my life. You
Mm.
know, it ruined my life because I was questioned about it. I actually walked down the street, with my children and women, and walked up to me and said, "Hey, you R. Kelly brother." I said, "Yes, ma'am. How you doing?" And spit in my face.
What up, though? This your boy DOC, and I got a special guest on the line. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and where you from, bro.
What's up, man? What's up, y'all? This is Carey, Kelly from Chicago, Illinois.
Cool. Well, once again, I appreciate the opportunity knocking out this interview with me. And I wanted to start a little bit more up to date, recent, with you putting out your song that's like kind of a direct connection to R. Kelly's song. And for people that don't know, this is R. Kelly's brother, and we'll get into a little bit more, as far as the relationship and everything else. How was you feeling about the reaction that you got so far from putting out your particular song?
I mean, well, it really didn't bother me. I know people, they have opinions, and especially with what the situation, and who the situation was actually talking about. I kind of expected that.
Right. Where did you catch wind of See the God's response on Power 105 about your
Oh
particular?
yeah. I caught wind of it, man. I actually thought it was funny.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was funny,
Right.
So I wasn't, I looked at it like this, for me to, be brought up on there, my name to be brought up on that show, it was a big thing for me.
Right. Yeah, definitely. That's what I was
And,
kind of.
because and I wasn't really tripping, because I figured that he was gonna stand up and stick out, you know what I'm saying? Because he's a pedophile too. To my, that's how I'm looking at it.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so let's go back a little bit. Now your rap name is Kelly, right?
Right.
Okay. How did you end up coming up with that name?
Well, actually, my mama, she actually named me. She named me Killer, from the Flip Wilson show back in the '70s. She named me that because I was a little bad when I was little, and so it stuck with me.
Oh, okay.
Stuck with me.
Now you and R. Kelly, of course, are brothers. Did y'all grow up in the same home?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Same home.
What's the age difference between you guys?
Give or take a few years,
Okay, so he's your older brother.
Yeah, he's the oldest.
Oh.
He's one of the oldest. I got two brothers, but both I'm the baby.
Okay. Were you guys close when y'all was growing up? Like, how was y'all relationship?
I mean, it was like normal brothers. Of course, when you have a big brother, everybody know how that go. They want to make sure that you fall in line on everything. So just pretty much the average big brother.
Right.
So we had our little spats. What I'm saying? We had our little disagreements, and then we had moments where we had love.
Definitely. Okay. Did it start off young, like within the household, with the musical interest on both of your sides, or did he start with the music first, or you? How did that work out?
Well, actually, my mom, Joanne Kelly, she was gifted. She was a gifted vocalist. She can sing, and she can hit them, Aretha Franklin and Patti LaBelle notes. And as we was coming up as kids, she saw something in all of us. We had rhythm. We all like to try to sing, even though Robert had the voice. But so we end up getting instruments for Christmas. We didn't get toys. We was mad. We didn't understand. I got a drum set. My older brother Bruce, he received a bass guitar. Robert played the lead, and he played. He was messing around with the piano. So we it was something that she saw in all of us. As far as being her kids, that she saw a talent in all of us. So I pretty much say that she pretty much and she guided us in the direction because we was making a lot of noise. I used to beat on the floor a lot and make beats, So she said, "I'm gonna give you a drum set." Robert he played a guitar of one of our uncles that had a guitar, and he was playing pretty good without having lessons. Bruce, same way. So that's why she saw something in us and started getting Christmas toys was instruments. We didn't get Tonka toys and He-Mans and big wheels and stuff,
Right.
Me, I used to take my toys apart. I used to tear them up, I tear them up and try to make it a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Some type of way,
Yeah. Okay. Well, y'all was deep into church and everything back then. Was y'all ever like considered in a group, or y'all just end up going in y'all separate ways when it came down to music?
Well, actually, I was a bit young, even though I developed a skill of playing like drums and stuff like that, the things that my mom had got me. But my mom and Bruce and Robert had formed a band, an actual band, and they used to throw parties and stuff in the backyard, and our families would come over from out of town and nearby and different things, and she would actually sing Aretha Franklin and Gladys Knight, and Bruce and Robert knew how to play the actual music. They had became that great where they was playing, the music that goes with the songs that my mama was singing. So they was, entertaining, family and friends and neighbors. You know what I'm saying? Neighbors would come over that stayed on the block or over on the next block. They would come over and sit there and watch them perform. Like I said, I was kind of young to actually be in a band, so I was in training, so that's how I looked at that. I did have drum sets, but they was on teenage stuff, and I wasn't even a teenager yet. So
right.
A lot of people enjoyed them, man. Especially the old Aretha Franklin and Gladys Knight classics. My mama can hit all those notes, and it was just amazing to see her up there with her kids.
Right, definitely. From your perspective, around what time did you see, since you say you were younger, not they were in the teenage years and everything, around what time from your perspective, looking at R.Kelly or Robert, when did you see him actually start taking the music serious? Was it like a certain situation that pulled him to okay, I'm going to do this, or how did that end up working out?
Well, that situation, I think I started seeing him take the music real serious once he went to Kenwood High School. He went to Kenwood High School, and he actually ended up getting with Miss Lena McGlynn. He speaks of her all the time, and he ended up getting with her, and they, she was his music teacher. So she pretty much, taught him, vocal coached him and actually taught him how to play the piano and things of that nature, even more so than what he already knew, because he hadn't had lessons, and he was able to do a lot of things, man, because he's very talented at what he do. He's very gifted, so that just enhanced, what he wanted to do in life, as a freshman, so on and so forth. So that's what really sparked his interest in music like it did. And as time progressed, and he started moving on and getting older, he started, developing, background singers. He was writing then. I remember a time that he said he was going to write a song for Michael Jackson when we was kids, and me and my older brother looked at him like he was crazy. Like, how you going to get close to Michael Jackson? You know what I'm saying? But that was before, he saw the vision. He's always been a visionary when it came to music and things of that nature. But he pretty much, that's what he did, man. He got a group. He got like 3 or 4 guys that was like his dancers and background singing and stuff like that. And they actually, I think it was around maybe 1989 or 88, somewhere around in there, that they actually went to Netley Cole Big Break. and they actually won. They won the 50,000 in prizes and 50,000 in cash. And back then that was like you know that was like the shows of today that's out there.
Mm-hmm.
And when they won that, it's like that changed the whole game because he had been actually going to record labels and they was pretty much turning him down because they said he sounded like Aaron Hall. He sounded like um, you know groups that was out there, Aaron Hall, the Gap Band, you know, things of that nature. So once he won the Nelly Cole's Big Break, that's when they basically, the record label started taking him serious. And that's how he actually got signed to Jive Records.
Oh, okay. Now, when he got signed to Jive Records, y'all were still pretty close. Did you come along on that journey with him?
Well, when he got signed to Jive, I was just pretty much, getting out of high school, and things of that nature. And he blew up overnight. I remember taking his demo tape to the school that I went to CVS, Chicago Vocational, and a couple of my guys that was up there I went to school with. They was checking the demo out, and they was laughing at me like, man, he ain't going nowhere. I'm like, man, y'all just watch, man. My brother gonna be big. He gonna be real big. And nobody believed me. I had his demo tape with a couple of songs on there and stuff, and I was the laughing stock, but I knew what I saw because I knew music. By that time, I had developed, into my own, music, type of situation as far as me writing and doing different things. So I knew he was going to take off.
Right, right. So when you was in the process of you doing your writing and everything, you just decided to go off into the rap lane?
Well, actually, I was playing basketball. I was playing basketball, so that was really my number one heart right there. I played with Juwan Howard, who actually moved on to play with Michigan, with Chris Webber and Jalen Rose and stuff like that. But, I had fell back because I had a death in the family. So, but yeah, that was my passion right there. And then after Robert took off, I pretty much was, I went on tour with him and, went around the world and rock shows with him, on tours and stuff.
Right. Okay. See, yeah, it was some question I was going to ask you about the actual tours. So let me ask you this: as far as the song, not the particular song that you put out, that was like, I guess what you would call like in response to the 19-minute song that he ended up putting out. One of the things that he, that kind of shocked a lot of people that he said in there, and I wanted to kind of see if there's any truth to it. He had mentioned, like, while he was a teenager, that he was molested by someone in the family. Like, was that your first time ever hearing something like that, or is it truth to that?
Well, to be honest, he did mention it, as kids, I didn't know how to take it. I really don't think that he told my mama. It was just like something that he, talked amongst his brothers, me and Bruce, and he told us. But I believed him because I was molested as well. So,
By the same person?
I can't really say that. I don't know. I just know what happened to me, and and then I believe what happened to him because he mentioned it.
How does, like, being of that age, and I'm not sure exactly what age, but going through something like that, how did that affect you?
Oh man, God has been keeping me, brother. I got to be honest. I didn't. It wasn't a walk in the park for me. To actually deal with situation like that because even as a kid, it started at 6 years old with me, and I knew it was wrong, and I was a kid, 6 years old. And the person, who did this to me, they was like 10 years my senior, so they knew what they was doing. If I can say something is not right with this and it's not right, but I was too afraid to come forth and speak on it, or I was too afraid to really even tell anybody. I didn't think people was gonna believe me. I didn't think that they, was gonna take it serious of what I actually went through. And that happened to me from 6 to 12 for 6 years. That went on like that.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah. I'm sorry to hear that. Did so around that same time, I'm not saying assuming that it happened to y'all around the same times, and you said you just explained how it affected you. Did you notice a change in his behavior after he said he went through that situation?
Well, yeah, I did. His behavior was more so. It was more aggressive, you know. And I had to be truthful, like me being the baby brother, even my older brother Bruce, sometimes they would get on me, you know, about little things that I may have done as a kid, because they my older brothers. They supposed to look out for me. They supposed to make sure that I'm not getting into trouble. But with Robert, it was a little bit more aggressive, than what it would normally be. If he told me, stop doing that, boy, put that down, it would be a little bit more aggressive, after he had told us what happened to him. I noticed that because it was actually happening to me.
Right, right. And I wonder because that kind of makes me reflect too. I remember you did a interview. Was it with Wendy Williams? You had mentioned something about him having like control issues. Do you think that kind of played a part in it, or you could elaborate on that? What you meant by him having control issues?
Well, to be honest with you, yeah, I believe that played part, a big part, on his control issues because, to my knowledge, it was a female, just like it was a female with me that had molested him, and with Robert, being the way that he is, everybody deal with problems and different things different ways, I believe that he kind of like don't really respect women the way that we was brought up. We was brought up in a way to respect our elders, respect, women, respect our parents, our grandparents. That's how we was brought up because, like you spoke earlier, we was brought up in church, so we knew the right way. So from that point, I believe that once that happened to him, that he looked at women differently. He looked at women differently, yeah, I believe that affected him a
Affecting,
lot.
yeah. Like so, when all these could kind of bouncing around a little bit, but like from the outside looking in, when you first start hearing about all of these allegations, did you believe it at first, or were you in awe? Like, no, this ain't true. This my brother, or how was your reaction just to the allegations in general?
Well, like I said, with me actually being, yeah, I was surprised a little bit, but I wasn't. If that makes any sense, I was surprised to the point that that everybody know, or everybody is thinking what I've been around, and know, you know. And what I mean by that is, I would see, on tour and stuff, he would be talking, to girls or whatever, and I would tell him like I would say, hey man, she don't look like she's, of age or whatever. I said she actually looked like one of my daughters, and I would put that in his mind to make him feel like that's your niece, that's a niece, that's your niece, and he'd say, oh man, you player hating, and then we'd just chop it up, and or he'll walk off, or something. Somebody else will call him and draw his attention away or whatever. But the fact that he would, you can look at it at a child and tell. You can see the face. You can tell that, hey, I don't think she's of legal age.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah, so it wasn't like one of them situations where it's a younger girl that looked like she's in her 20s or nothing like that. Like they looking like kids, or still looking young.
I mean, I got to be real with you, Doc, for me to say, hey, man, she reminded me of my daughter.
Yeah.
I'm a father.
Right. Yeah.
And I'm protective. I'm a protector, of my daughters. My boys, they pretty much can, and most fathers think the same way. They pretty much can handle themselves. But the girls, they vulnerable. The biggest father's nightmare is a guy coming along talking some slick stuff in his daughter ear, because we've been kids too before.
Exactly.
And we did that. And next thing you know, we got her. you know. But you know, when we was kids, we got the girl that was our age or the girl we had a crush on, or vice versa. You know, by spitting some things that they call sweet nothings in their ear.
Right.
You know, so I believe that's one of a real father. You know, that's one of their biggest nightmares right there to know that. But the bigger nightmare to me is for somebody to be old enough to be their father.
Mm.
You know, in their ear. You know.
Yeah. So were you around during the stages when him and Aaliyah were talking?
Yes, I was. I was around.
Like how did that particular situation like kind of play out as far as maybe the backlash from the media or maybe even on a personal level of knowing like this is a younger girl, like how did that play out through your eyes in that situation?
Well, to be honest with you, I mean, you know, they had a artist relationship. You know, that I knew, and I knew that was very strong. They had an artist relationship. She was talented, you know, in her own way, in her own right. You know, she was creative in her own way, in her own right, even as a young girl, you know, and and that was something that I saw that they had in common, and you know he would be able to teach her different things as far as you know vocal coaching her or telling her how to sing this note or telling her how to sing it this way, telling her how to lay back and fall back on certain things when it comes to the track. Um, so they, you know, it wasn't so surprising to see that okay, these two people, even though she's young, they have something in common that you know it's a common ground. They both love music. They both artists, and just like you know, she proved to be a great artist. You know, she proved to be a great artist. You know, with him teaching her and things of that nature and writing songs for her. So I wasn't really, you know, it didn't raise the eyebrow.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So
You kind people didn't look at it the same way because she was the attachment was really through the music business. Did people kind of during that time still question the age part, like from internally within the crew or the family or staff that was around? It would just how that's what I'm saying. Like from that particular angle.
well, I mean, after a while, you know, then the eyebrows start raising and different things, you know, after a while. But I mean, like I said, you know, I was just as shocked to hear things, you know what I'm saying, like other people was when they heard it, you know. I was just as shocked too because the only thing that I mainly saw was the relationship as far as when it came to music,
Right.
you
Now,
know.
so now going back to what you mentioned about, going out on a tour and going out on the road and everything, like, what was the role that you played during that time when y'all went out on tour?
Well, actually, you know, I wouldn't really call it the hype man. You know, I actually, you know, born into the '90s. That was the first album. I actually had written born into the '90s. I had wrote some of that. I wrote Summer Bunnies. I wrote Back to the Hood of Things. Um, you know, these are a lot of things that I did, and what Robert was trying to do on that album, I understood it. It was pretty much, you know, he wanted to mix a little hip hop, you know, with the R&B, you know, because that's one thing he's great at, you know. So that's the flavor that we brought to the stage, and you know, throughout the world and all overseas was, you know, the flavor of hip hop, and then he'd break them down with. We started off with hip hop, you know. So that's what the show was about. You know, we got the people hyped up, and then he was able to just bring them, take them all home. You know, with Sex Me
Mm.
and you know different things like that. So
Were you properly credited for the things that you contributed to those albums during that time?
no, I was not at all. You know, I didn't really know that much about the business back then, and I just knew that my brother had made it, and me and my other brother Bruce, we was just proud that he had made it, and we had an opportunity to be, you know, actually out there with him, and he done it. You know, he shocked the world. You know, I didn't know anything about the business part as far as I felt like. We in the studio, we vibing, and I come up with something, an idea, or I write 16 bars, or write 8 bars, or write a hook, or anything that I was gonna be compensated for it.
Mm.
And you know, I never was. I take that back. I got paid $1,000 to rap, like on a track, and I actually written it. So I never received royalties. I never received any paperwork saying that I actually, I need, well, you need to sign this because this is the part you wrote. I never received none of that.
Mm. And being blind to that, you just, like you said, you just didn't know that it was going on. You were just going along with the flow. Eventually, like as time, did it take a long time to catch up to speed about the business? Is that what kind of created the fallout?
Well, no, not actually. That's not what created it. After a while, I had became acclimated to, okay, this is what it is. I'm out here on tour and I'm working for my brother and I'm busting my butt. We would do sometimes 2 shows a night. That's how many people. The first show would be sold out, so they would have to sell the second show. But the thing that really bothered me, too, is it was like a build up of things as far as like me not getting paid royalties or getting no credit on the album, but I actually was working on tour with him and I was receiving $250 a week.
Mm.
Yeah. And I'm going away from my kids and my family for months, and basically when I actually when I received, I was sending it home, for roof over my kids' heads and things like that of that nature. And I sit back and I watched everybody else get paid a lot of money on tour, $4,000, $3,000 a week, $3,500. And actually, me and Bruce, my older brother, we was the lowest paid people on the on payroll. And I couldn't figure out why was that. We working. It's not like we just here because this our brother and we just expect him to give us money, from his hard work and everything that he did, his blood, sweat, and tears. That wasn't it. We worked. We actually worked. I actually talked to different groups that was on tour. We was on tour with Salt and Pepper. We was on tour with Heavy D and the Boys. Escape. A lot of people, Warren G, and I got cool with a lot of people that was out there on the road. A lot of people respected me and I respected them, and it was nothing but love. At the end of the day, me being an artist and being curious, I had to ask, man, what you get paid, man? Oh, man, I get $2,500 a week.
Mm.
And these, and I'm knowing what the job is worth. I'm doing like 5 and 6 songs. I'm almost as tired as Robert by the time the concert is over. And I'm only getting $250 a week, and one day I asked him, I said, hey man, why are we getting paid, what we getting paid, brother? People came off the last tour and they was able to go buy buildings and houses and all type of things for what they was getting paid. I didn't trip on it because they obviously they was getting paid what they was worth. Robert really wanted me and Bruce to be able to be by him. We, our dreams and ambitions and goals and stuff in life, our place was by him. So if he would have paid us enough money, we probably would have built a studio. We probably would have been heard and, got signed by somebody and things of that nature. So he said, man, I'm paying you enough to pay your bills.
Mm. Keep you close to him.
To keep us close to him.
Yeah, give someone just enough to eat so they have to come back.
Exactly. I mean, this is real. This is real right here. What I'm saying, like, he has a company. He's a businessman. At the end of the day, everything that I'm saying, I'm not, trying to, brown nose my brother or make him look bad or nothing like that. I got to speak the truth. And if the truth make you look bad, then you got to step back and ask yourself a question. Why would the truth make you look bad if it's not the truth?
Right.
I was actually filing my taxes with the United States government. With the IRS, through his company, and I got proof of what I got paid.
Mm.
So
yeah,
I can't make that up. Everything that I'm saying can be proven.
So how long did that continue to last? As far as the tour, like once you officially found out that things were bad, did you continue to still go on tour and support your brother and everything, or did you eventually fade off and try to do your own thing? Because I know you mentioned something in your response that he messed up a deal that you had, and you like, asked him to explain that? Like, what happened with that? Like, he deliberately stopped you from getting a deal to better yourself? That was later on down the line, or how did that?
That was later on down the line. I mean, I dealt with that for 6 years. For 6 years, I was on tour with Robert, and I was receiving that amount of pay. And after 6 years, enough was enough. I said, I'm gonna branch off and I'm gonna try to do my own thing. And when I start making moves, and start being heard and getting some record labels and different things of that nature, people will be interested in the demo that I have. And then I'll go in the studio and I work hard, just as hard as he do. And the things that I was coming up with, people, they was loving it. And I end up, being talking to different people, and they say, hey man, we're gonna do business with you. And next thing you know, they act like they don't even know me. I mean, the power that he had in the business, Robert always felt like if I get on, it'll make him look bad because look where he was and he didn't do it. He didn't put me on.
Right, being brothers. Do you think it was a mixture of him deliberately stopping and the allegations that was out there that made the whole family look bad? Did any labels or anything kind of shy away from you throughout this whole period because of the allegations he had on his name and y'all brothers?
No, this was actually before that. Any allegations, brother. This was before any allegations that took place. That's what happened, and that's why this is called My Life. That's my next single that I'm dropping. It's called My Life because it's my life. These are the things that actually happened to me, and it's almost unbelievable because of the star status and the person that he is and the accomplishments that he has made, in this world, in this entertainment business. But at the end of the day, these things happen behind the scenes, and it's the truth. Like I said, I basically, when I branched off and I tried to do my own thing, that's all I was focused on. I'm proud of him. That's my brother. He doing his thing, Why not? Why not? Why not me do my own thing? And it was so many different situations that I was in where people, one time I was finna sign with Ronald Isley. I was finna sign with Ronald Isley. Ronald Isley flew me to California, and I was out there with him, and then he flew me to New York and introduced me to Puffy and introduced me to Lil Kim and Flavor Flav. I'm actually in the video. It's called Float On. When Lil Kim jumped out the cake, I was there. And I actually was talking to Ronald, and he was telling everybody, like, yeah, he the next thing smoking. But then my brother ended up talking to him. And once he talked to him, that deal went away, and he came out with Mr. Biggs. And down low, everything that I'm saying is factual.
Okay. Yeah, I see. I definitely remember the time, that time period of those songs coming out with Ron Isley. That's crazy. So basically, the moves that you were going to try to make, you saying that he ended up blocking what you had to do and then end up teaming up with those same individuals.
Pretty much. And me knowing my brother. See, I know my brother better than the world do. Better than the world will ever know him. Me knowing him and knowing that, Robert is very brilliant at what he do. And he knows that, hey, I come with this music, they're going to forget about anything that they hear. That's the Pied Piper. I come with this music, they're gonna forget about it, and that's what he concentrates on, and that's what he focuses on. If you think about, all the situations that happened, even with the tape situation, and he went to trial for 6 years. He came with the music, he beat it, and everybody forgot about it.
Right.
But at the same time, I was brought up in that where his lawyers, they have to do things very, very, very tight. Robert didn't ever see it out of his mouth. No, he didn't. But his lawyers, they didn't know me from a can of paint. Remember, I was a nobody. So from that point, when he said, hey, man, me knowing my brother played doubles. If you look at, you remind me of my Jeep video. You would swear, you would think you saw Robert, but it's me sitting right there. I actually played doubles. Even on tour, we had the same outfit on when the curtain opened because his gimmick was he wanted the audience to not know who he was until he opened his mouth. He opened his mouth, they knew he was R. Kelly. So it's a lot of the different things that I did with him, and it was by his doing. Hey, man, I want you to put the same vest on that I got. I want you to put the same pants on that I got. I want you bald headed. I want you to have dark shades on. That was Robert doing that.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So now, as when I look back on his lawyer saying that I played doubles and that could be his brother in the tape, those are the things that ruined my life. You know, it ruined my life because, you know, I was questioned about it. You know, I actually walked down the street, you know, with my children, and women and walked up to me and said, hey, you know, you R. Kelly brother. I said, yes, ma'am. How you doing? And spit in my face because they said that I tried to bring my brother down by making